Yo, peace. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I decided to kick it with y'all this morning and kick it with y'all, build with y'all this morning, man. Discuss something that happened Monday on the platform here. So I just decided let me go live about this, and build with y'all for a moment, man. So shout out to Silent K, man. Shout out to that brother right there. Thank you for everything. You know what it is. We ain't got to say nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I just want to have this discussion with y'all, and it's about volatile behaviors within the community. Now, the return of Bobby Brown, y'all, right? Now, this is what I used to call JJ 7000. I used to call him that because every time I saw him talking, he would be all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It was like, y'all ever seen Bobby Brown when he was really on that shit? Y'all remember that? How his mouth used to be moving, right? Can't feel that bottom jaw. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like his mouth used to be running one way and his head would be going the other way. Y'all know what a coke jaw is, right? You guys have seen it, right? So let me first discuss. Let me first give you guys the ethos here. So he, we were having the show, and me, Kansu, and Neo, we were discussing the Christian apologists, Wes Huff, and the brother Billy Carson, right? And as we were having the show, it was a pretty good show. You know what I'm saying? I think it's that 2,000 people viewed it. It's pretty good. Thank you for everybody that viewed it and supported it. Right? I really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? That means a lot. Um, but when we were discussing it, I saw somebody come up in there that says HOK champion. And I just happened to put my cursor on it, and it was JJ 7000. And I was just like, I said, nah, JJ, we cool. I really don't want you around. You cool. I accept your apology. Nothing more needs to be said. If you don't come around that way, I told him why I didn't want him around. You know what I'm saying? I said, yo, it's cool, dog. I accept your apology. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let's just move on. I really don't want you on the platform. As long as you're not around, we're not going to have any issues. You know what I'm saying? In the past, we've had discussions, and he's had these meltdowns because he's being asked questions. They want to debate first, and you ask them questions during the debate, or things of that nature. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I really don't want to go all deep into that nonsense, right? But when he came over there, I just didn't let him on the platform. And when I didn't let him on the platform, a brother of mine called me and said, man, he over there doing a live video about you. And I said, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, what more did I need to tell him as a man? You understand what I'm saying? How more gentleman-like did I have to be? You know what I'm saying? Let me explain something. When you're known as somebody with volatile behaviors, and all of us can snap and crash out, all of us can do that. But when you're known um, for always biting the hand that reaches out to help, or somebody's biting your hand or slapping you in your face, and if you're known that somebody has certain traits and these volatile behaviors, and every time they disagree with you, they go on slander campaigns, right? And then they apologize for it, right? Now, the situation was I just didn't want him on the platform. Prior to that, there was a situation where he called me and he wanted to debate. I accepted the debate. The day of the debate over there on Solar Vision, he did not show up to the debate, and then he started slandering me. I mean, it's all on record. It's literally on record. I showed up. He was not there. Oh, let me refrain that. It was the preliminary debate, right? I mean, he had every excuse in the world why he didn't, and we called him prior to it. So I had took it. I had already outthought him on this one, right? I just want to tell you guys this. He called me. I'm at work. Let's debate. Let's debate. And I said, okay, well, we can have the preliminary. We set up the preliminary. He was running all around YouTube. I'm going to debate him. I'm going to win. All that other nonsense. So I decided to take him up on his bluff because I knew he would not want to debate. I knew he was just only saying those things to garner attention for himself. And he ended up not debating. I showed up, you didn't show up. There was no beef, no nothing leading up to it. It only became a problem afterwards. And you tried to save face by running around on places like Q Butter's channel and all these other channels. And the same individuals that allowed you to talk shit, I listened to them. I was watching them also, and I noticed none of them said nothing that used to come over here a lot. None of them said anything to you. Maybe because none of them took you seriously, but I'm just kind of whatever. I brushed them off, left them alone too, because I really don't want anything to do with that community. That community is full of pedophiles, full of criminals, hustlers. I'm not part of that. You are. You're part of that. So then you begin to slander my name. Then when Solar Mind brought you on board, brought you back over there, so you can apologize to me about what you were doing and apologize to Neo for you calling her out her name, guess what you did? You didn't even want to do that. You didn't even want to apologize. Solar had to pull it out of you like he was talking to a child. See, it was ridiculous. Yeah, you know what? It could have been easy for me. Yeah, you know what? I got a little bit overzealous, talking shit a little bit too much, man, and I took it a little bit overboard. Cool. So when you came up there, I came on there and we beat you down. Simple. Then you went right on off and started doing the same thing all over again. Insulting everybody, calling everybody homosexual slurs, doing anything you can to garner this attention for yourself. Fast forward to Tuesday. You did not sit up there. You came on the platform. I don't want nothing to do with you. I haven't seen you go into the same spaces on your own and say, you know what, to Chris MVP Harris, I want to make an apology to you. You didn't do any of that on your own. You didn't say, yo, Neo, I want to apologize to you. You did not do any of that on your own. You didn't. You didn't go in there, yo, to Chris's audience. I apologize to you. You did not do that. It's a difference between me and you and the way I've been able to maintain relationships. When I slandered the pseudo killers, they was like, Chris, we ain't messing with you no more. And I was like, all right, cool. And on my own, they didn't even ask for an apology. On my own, I apologized to them. And it's cool. I apologize to every member because I became overzealous over fights over Egypt. Y'all remember them nights? That shit was dope, but we was all going at it. I was like the 3rd battalion on it. You know what I'm saying? Carpet bombing them. But anyway, that was fun, right? Because we was dealing with it scholastically. We were dealing with it, right? We were dealing with it. Ankh apologize. It's good. It's cool. We weren't talking about nobody's mamas, calling each other homosexual slurs. It was just a bunch of just calling each other stupid and dumb, things like that, right? But you, on the other hand, you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to exhibit that type. You don't have that type of control. I could have easily come on here and called you all out your name and stuff like. I ain't got to do all that. It's kind of silly if you think about it. I think Neo's video explained it. I think it demonstrates what you are. It's when you are told no, you begin to exhibit behavior like a child. Hey, listen, if, and I'm going to use the pseudo killers, if I slander a Jolanda or an Ankh or Cedric Ortega, people that I have relationships with, right? If I slander them and apologize and they say, yo, Chris, we still don't want you around, I would have to accept that and move on. Because of the continuous exhibition of behavior, they can say, yeah, you'll do it again tomorrow. You'll do it again tomorrow. What, you think you're the only person that been beat up before? Scholastically? If you're going to come in these circles, you got to take your lumps and take your bruises. You understand what I'm saying? You got to take them lumps. See, when you start taking lumps upside the head, for some odd reason, it damages your ego, and you feel as if you should go off and start insulting people and slandering people, and then saying, hey, look, I'm sorry, let me back up. I identify myself online as Chris MVP Harris. That's how I identify myself. That nickname was given to me by, what's it called, people that listen to it, that listen to me. You are identifying yourself as the HOK champion. That's how you identify yourself first. And when people don't want you around because of the type of behavior that you continue to exhibit or exude on these panels, you can no longer get upset. It's like when a mother tells a child no. The child cries and cries and cries and cries and does everything it can for attention and to have it its way, so that child can have his or her way. And you proved what I said. You proved my point. I told you no, and you went right on off and you started slandering. You started your slander campaign. You started talking about black existentialism. And I know you've never researched it. I know you've never read the book by W.E. Du Bois, The Soul of Black Folks, which is a philosophy, an existentialist philosophy. You're just running around saying gay people made it. No, they did not. It's just weird how you do things. You find homosexuality in everything. You start throwing all these these homophobic and anti-gay slurs around at everybody. And the funny thing is, dog, nobody takes you seriously when you do it. It's just crash out behavior. You would want to do shows over there on Sonetta's platform. Back in when I was participating on there earlier in my participation on that platform over there, you would want to do shows talking about, I want to debate Chris Harris. Sonetta would call me like, yo, he wants to debate you, man. Come on up. I'll show right on up, and I'll just watch you crash out on a couple of questions. See, what you really want to do is you want to use big platforms to insult people. You haven't mastered yourself yet. You're creating this identity as an HOK champion. No, man. No, dog. You're putting that first before who you are. You know, I went over there to Clubhouse. I was just chilling in the audience. Them Hebrews, yeah, there go Chris, bring him up. I'm just in the audience listening. Then I get up there and they trying to create red herrings, straw mans all day. This ain't nothing new. I'm in their house and they still can't listen. They still don't know how to argue correctly. They're still using slippery slopes. So, bro, after this, man. Now you're dead to me. You mean nothing now. Any hope of patching anything up is dead. You weren't blocked from participating on the channel. You weren't blocked from the audience. I just didn't want you on the panel that night. Nah, you did too much. We used to say, man, we ain't fucking with that dude. That's what we used to say back home in Detroit. We ain't fucking with that nigga, dog. We good with him. He cool. We ain't fucking with him. And we move on. You tell a child no, a child begins to get upset and panic and flail all over the place. He should have had his turn blinker on a lot earlier than that. It's like Billy Carson. Billy Carson did a video explaining why he lost the debate. I think he began to see some of the videos that was being produced. I hope he saw mine. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. It was evident that he was in the hospital. So what he's saying is true. That apparently that's quite old. That footage is kind of old. And he asks Mr. Huff, don't release the video. He's telling him don't release that. They are presenting it, or the community, that apologetic community is presenting it as a debate. He's saying no, it was not a debate. He's saying no, it was not a debate. And the way that the ebb and flow of it showed that it wasn't a debate. See, everybody that loses, it shouldn't always be about winning and losing. Because neither one of them was producing any citation as it pertained to what they were saying. Neither one of them did that. I know Christian apologists don't do it. Man, listen, I could find the same book they used to prove Jesus is God. I could go right into Egypt and show you the same story being told. I could show you the same story. Probably because the book of John was put together at Alexandria and they had access to those records there when they were trying to discuss this narrative of Jesus. Why does it differ from that of Matthew, Mark, and Luke? Why does the book of John differ? Why is the logos here? You see all these different philosophies. Because see, they're still adding to the story of this man named Jesus. They're continuously adding to it over time. So Billy Carson releases a 3-hour-long video on why he lost. No, he did not release a video on why he lost. He released a video explaining why he did not perform at his best. He released a video explaining what was going on there. He was releasing a video explaining that it was not a debate. And he took it down, probably because he heard people saying, hey, look, Wes Huff didn't perform that great either. I personally thought Wes Huff sucked. But I think he did capitalize on some of the mistakes he was making in that conversation. Hey, listen. Anytime people deal with me, they know. Nah, man. We have if it's concerning history, it's always formal. I don't have informal historical conversations. I don't. Just go over there to the gospel truth, that apologetic. Show me where Jesus said that he is God. Sir, Jesus is God. Sir, I'm just asking you to show me where he said that. That's the narrator saying that. What can be greater than what comes out of your Savior's mouth? He calls himself in John chapter 6 the Son of Man. The same chapter that you're trying to use to say that he's the Son of God. It goes from a first person to a. That's why it's a story. Nothing more. It's almost like you guys have forgotten how to read a book because you believe something first and want to learn about it second. What kind of foolishness is that? So Billy Carson, he releases it and then he takes it down. You didn't have to do that at all. I'd have stood up there and said, yeah, I said all of that. Well, probably should have just gave a little bit more citation, but I just didn't feel good. We've all been there. I've been there. Everybody's been there. I got my ass kicked by Pastor Bennett. It happens. He didn't out scholar me or anything like that. He damn sure didn't do that. Owned up to it and moved on. Just own up to it. And maybe that's what Billy's gonna do. Because Billy ain't getting no 2,000 views like I get over here. Billy up there getting 38 million, 41 million, 3 million. Them is low numbers for him, 3 million. He up there at 20 million. And guess what people is laughing at him? Us. We're laughing at him. Why are we laughing at him? When he's opening doors so people that look like me and you can go into those communities and begin to challenge those Christian apologetics or Calvinists. That's all I call an apologetic, is a Calvinist. That we can go in there and begin to challenge those apologetics and challenge them on their ground. This is how you challenge an apologetic. And I want all the apologetic smoke. I'm going to keep you in your book. The minute you come out of your book, you lost. It's going to get ugly. See, I like to tell y'all what I'm going to do before I do it. I heard Dr. Wesley, I keep calling him Dr. Wesley for some reason. Wes Huff. I heard him say that Genesis chapter 1 is an apologetic against the Sumerian story. Like, what? That's an interesting argument. Especially when Moses or God himself won't confirm that. It seems to me that Genesis chapter 1 is chapter 1, verse 1 of your book, not an apologetic or an argument. Because it's never mentioned. I think that's called a false dichotomy here. Like, man, you presented that fast. You threw that up there. Whoosh. I never heard anything like that. But see, just as Billy Carson was lacking citation, so was Wes Huff, Mr. Huff. He was lacking a ton of it. The references were great from Billy Carson. These are stories that you can go and look at. But he allowed Mr. Huff to push the narrative in a very informal conversation. So if you give a reference, you better have a citation for it. And you better know how to argue it. I don't think Billy Carson is a debater. Not everybody can debate. It's a skill. And I want to say this, JJ, whatever you call yourself, you're in your own way. You're in your own way. For you to even sit up there and say that black existentialism was put together by homosexuals was completely stupid. You're in your own way. What is it that Christ teaches? I've said it plenty of times. I remember he was asking me about what is Ubuntu, and I began to explain it to him what Ubuntu was, and then he already had an argument for it. He went right on Google. Look, bro. That's not how you argue. You can't pull commentaries from people. And why would you have a problem with Ubuntu? Oh, probably because you were a Hebrew Israelite. You guys look at everybody else's cultures and you say, hey, it's evil. It's bad. That's why I used to call you Christians. That moderator proved it. He said all those other knowledges that these African cultures had came from demons and angels. So why is it in your text then? Why is the knowledge from demon and angels in your text? Why is it there? Why are Canaanite myths in your text? Why is a Canaanite psalm in your text? Because you guys were borrowing everybody. These people were borrowing everybody else's philosophy. And they were nothing but Canaanites to begin with. The tribe of Dan were Greeks. Easily proven. I've proved it time and time again. They were Greeks. So you're in your own way. Stop trying to have these static rebuttals the minute that you hear something that somebody says. It makes you look silly. Stop crashing out because somebody told you no. That's what children do. Bottom line is this: you ain't welcomed over here no more. It's cool. You're just not welcome over here. You proved my point. And if you really want to talk numbers, it's 5 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. It's 48 people watching this. At peak time, you had 25 people watching you. And you know what they were probably saying to themselves? Oh, Lord, he trying to challenge Chris again. Let's just watch it. Even when Neo came up there to try to talk to you. Nah, you can't come up here after you challenged her. It shows a volatile mindset. So anyway, we're going to be moving on from that. We're not going to dwell on that no more. So I want to say shout out to everybody in the audience, all 50 people. It's 5 o'clock here in the AM. I'm going to say shout out to Crack Netter. First name I see. Flute Whistle, Silent K, Brother Khalil. I'm going to say shout out to him. Shout out to Steve the Theorist. Shout out to Neo. I didn't know she was in the audience. What's up, sis? Shabaka is in the building. Mind Elevation TV. Once again, I want to say shout out to everybody. I'm driving, so I can't keep looking down at my screen. Big Steve-O. Everybody in the building, man. Just wanted to have that discussion. I'll say it again. Dude, I just ain't messing with you. Y'all go check out the video that Neo did. I think a 2-minute video said wonders. Nothing else need to be said. Nothing else needs to be said. Nor discussed. So, as I'm saying, moving forward, I'm going to be visiting Mr. Wes Huff. I may, because he's down here in Florida, I may go to one of his lectures. And I may raise my hand and dispute some of his claims about the arguments that people make that don't accept the Bible. And as always, let's start with slavery. I don't care what Jesus said. Is slavery in your book? How can Jesus create a new law when the Constitution, the Israelite Constitution, is called the Torah? When did he create a new law? When was this put into the? When was these laws added into your Torah? When was the Christian philosophy accepted by the priests of that time? Or better yet, what are you guys using to prove Jesus existed? I promise you, everywhere you guys are going to go, you're going to be using nothing but religious texts. You're going to use Suetonius, you're going to use Eusebius, and you're going to create arguments and inferences around those. Where is Jesus? And where is his daddy? Where is Abraham and his wicked sons? Because if I read the story of Abraham, you guys know what I see, honestly? I see a terrorist. I see a terrorist. I see a terrorist stealing and manipulating Africans in order to gain their wealth and knowledge. I see a missionary. I see Christian missionary or Israelite missionary going into other cultures, learning them, and trying to come in there and conquer them. I see a wartime general. I don't see no man chosen by God. See, whenever somebody writes a story, they're always going to say their main character is chosen. It's simple. Did anybody watch X-Men 97? Did anybody watch that? That was excellent storytelling. I said, wow, this is what X-Men was supposed to be back when we were growing up. Because, the 90s was so conservative, they couldn't really get into a lot of the contrasting that was going on between Professor X and Magneto. Y'all know the whole thing. If you a nerd like me growing up, but when you watched the new series, X-Men, you wasn't messing with Professor. Nobody was messing with Professor X. Everybody was fucking with Magneto. We loved Magneto because Magneto's philosophy reminded us of our freedom fighters that were fighting for our rights because we saw ourselves as special. That's a form of existentialism. Glossing over philosophies and things like that. Philosophy is a bit different, dog. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. It's a bit deeper than that. Neo said, all I need is a 1-minute video. You want to give me an hour plus a pen and a pad. I was going to go live last night and deal with this. I said, nah, I'm good. He ain't really worth it. Turned my computer on, had me a murder spree on a video game. I'm good. Ain't really worth it. So shout out to everybody tuned in, man. Hey guys, it reached 58 people in the AM, man. So impressive. I love you guys, man. Really appreciate that, man. One thing I will say that taught me: when you insult somebody and you disrespect somebody, you go into the same spaces that you did it and apologize. That's how you do that. And that's how you keep your respect. Give me 1 minute while I park this car. All right. Oof. All right. Let me see. Let's see who else. We got Tyrone, wiser than campers. He's in the building. He says, outline of biblical usage, a mother metaphor, the source of something, the motherland. Okay, God, man, you keep popping up. Let me see. Sister Angel pop up on. No, I don't watch Judah Nazareth. What you don't understand about that, Silent K? I don't watch it. I don't watch it. Like, dude, no, I don't watch that nonsense. All right. Actually, yesterday was a great day for me because the type of calls that I was fielding were calls pertaining to the video that I did about that so-called dialogue. Those are the type of phone calls I like picking up my phone and taking. Hey, bro, what's the name of that book? You got that book? Yeah, Sacred Mushroom, Christianity and the Sacred Mushroom. Yeah, I got that. Here you go. Sis calling me. I like fielding those type of phone calls, not phone calls about some dude talking shit. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. If she popped up on there and they squashed it, that's great. I'm with that. But I'm not fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? I know what he's doing. I know what he about. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Got to get ready to start work. We're gonna build a little bit later, man. Hotep, shalom, peace, ashe. Y'all have a great morning, man. I'm out. Peace, Michael. We signing out.